And we're back.
We're back. Hello and welcome to it. So I'm not going to do it again, man.
Is that going to be your regular intros from now on?
Man, if we ever get big, then we'll get busted for copyright, so I'm not going to do it anymore.
Can you imagine?
So I'll apologise to Buddy G and BBC. Sorry.
Yeah, right. That's how we might get some recognition that way.
Yeah, maybe.
So I think for this episode, you guys are letting me hijack a little bit, and we're going to try and do some. I'm going to propose to you some moral dilemmas for you guys to dissect and tell me what you think you would do in these situations, or whether or not you think what was done was the correct action. Hopefully that makes sense. I feel like I just vomited out some words.
I think we'll see how it goes because
Yeah, it's cool. So this is like we're going to try to like switch it up a bit, try something a little bit different with these moral dilemmas. If we like it, and anyone who might be listening likes it, let us know as well. Let us know what you think.
Yeah, because what we don't want to do is every week put out a really serious episode. The purpose of this podcast is to talk about important issues within our community.
Yeah.
And that's relevant to us and that can help us and benefit us.
Yeah.
We don't want to be talking about it all the time.
100%, man. Like, laughter is one of the essences of life. So we're going to try and
spice it up a little bit.
Spice it up, yeah. So any white people, you know nothing about spices, might as well turn off now. I'm joking. Say no, it's just salt and pepper one out here, bro.
No, we're gonna put some freaking paprika in there. We're gonna put some jeera powder in there.
Zero powder. Zero powder.
What else?
Haldi.
Some chili powder.
It is funny to me whenever I come across a person who finds avocado spicy.
I'd never think avocado has a bit of spice in it.
I have met one person who literally, when they go to Nando's and they ask what sauce would you like, they say no sauce. Like, not even lemon and herb or whatever. It's no sauce, please, just chicken.
No sauce must be
just a white chicken
representative of their personality. Yeah, what is that, man? You get me? And not even grilled. Like burnt chicken, not burnt to a crisp, but slightly burnt. It's
boiled chicken.
It's got but like when you put it on the grill and it's got that like charcoal,
yeah.
Like, but it tastes good. So I don't understand. Like, you take the skin off, you boil it in just water, no spices,
or even just steam it.
Man,
can you imagine?
What is that, man?
I don't even know. I just made it.
It's a dry. It's just like rubber, basically.
Yeah.
Anyway, should we just jump straight in?
Let's do it.
Okay, so I'm going to present you with a situation and ask yourself to place yourself in that situation, and then we'll just talk about what you think about that situation. So the first one is, imagine yourself as being a middle-aged parent to a single child, and the house you live on, you live in a very lovely landscaped area. There's actually a hiking trail that ends with your house. So you don't live in the city, you live mainly in the countryside.
Sounds like where I live now.
Literally, actually, doesn't it?
You live at the end of a hiking trail, a very popular hiking trail. It's like maybe, let's say, like 10-kilometer hike or something. And your kid has the idea of opening up a lemonade stand on your street, where a lot of these hikers will actually end their hike. So it's actually quite a good idea, because they've finished their hike, they've probably finished all the water they've taken with them, and they can, give a pound and have a cup of lemonade, and it's a win-win for everyone involved. And actually, you're very surprised, within the first couple months, 3 months, your kid's actually making a decent amount of money. And they actually have had the business savviness to improve the lemonade stand, actually invest the money they've made back into the lemonade stand, buying nicer cups, etc., etc. After about 3 or 4 months, another kid opens a lemonade stand on the same street, literally opposite your kid on the other side of the road. And it's quite a tight-knit community, and this kid doesn't live in the area. And you actually see him and his dad drive up, set up the lemonade stand, and at the end of the day, drive away again. And the profits for your kid has literally plummeted. It's been cut in half. So how do you react in that situation? Your kid's obviously quite disheartened. Would you go up and speak to the father of the other kid, or would you, how would you react? What do you think?
I'd know what. I think I know how Saf's going to react.
I'd phone HMRC and snitch on him.
Okay,
This man is taking undeclared earnings, man.
Bro, we ain't no snitchers, bro.
Well, speak for yourself.
We're going to bloody go up there and bring some smoke.
That's what I would do. What would you do?
Nah, you would. That's what I was going to say. You would, yeah. Well, you would snitch.
Bro, I'm phoning HMRC. Hello, can I speak to the Queen?
I would, like, go over and speak to him, innit? Just be like, friendly little nudge. Be like, hey, what do you think you're doing?
That's not very friendly.
No, but in a friendly way. I'd be like...
Okay, one thing I could do. Okay, Mish, how wealthy am I as the parent of this child?
You're doing okay. I mean, you're not struggling. You'd usually give the kid, let's say it's a 10-year-old kid, and you give them £10 pocket money each week. But the kid was making about £30-40 per week just from this lemonade stand.
I would go to the father of the other stand, like just friendly conversation. Oh, hey, yeah, whatever. Oh, so where are you guys from? Oh, I'm from here. I'd go to the supermarket in that area and buy all the lemons, so that they can't buy any.
I'd buy it from there for our own stock.
Yeah.
And then...
Do lemons expire? They do, but not really. Like, they don't get mouldy, do they?
Because you're from a tight-knit area,
Yeah.
you mentioned, Mish, where you're from. If they tried to buy it from our own town, they'd probably reject them anyways.
Ooh. That's a hard one, man. What would you do? What would you...
Like, realistically.
What would you do?
What would I do?
Yeah.
No, you guys answer. I already know the answer. My personal answer. You guys.
Okay.
What would you actually genuinely do? Do you think? Do you think you just let it happen?
This is a public road. Obviously, most people take hikes, yeah? Okay. There's not really anything you can do, is there? What can you do?
What you can do is just trying to be better than them in terms of, like, how the stand looks, how the lemonade tastes, like, just normal business sense. You have to differentiate, right?
I'd widen my offering and give them Rubicon Mango.
Yeah. I mean, that's what...
Fizzy lychee.
I was going to go around that kind of same route, like offer something else, something better than just the lemonade.
Wait, we've seen him drive away, haven't we?
Yeah.
Which so we know it as a license plate, don't we?
Yeah.
I'd take the air out of his tires so he can't get there. Or get there one morning, yeah, before them, like maybe. Oh, that's not.
Well, you live there, so this is literally the street that you live on.
I would. What could we do? Can you contaminate his lemon juice, water, fizzy drink, whatever?
I'm trying to think of something that's sustainable. Like, I think the only thing
how can you put an end to it? Not just do something once, but actually stop it from ever happening
again. I think you got to
again.
see it as competition. Like,
okay, so I like that. Sully, you're talking about differentiating yourself and employing business strategies, and Saf, you're talking about straight up destroying the competition, like spiking their supply, contaminating their waters, destroying their mode of transport, potentially taking away their livelihood.
You can tell what kind of person Saf is.
That's actually very telling of certain character traits I think we both have.
Yeah, maybe this is more of a personality test than just a fun podcast episode. So I think personally for me, I would probably speak to my kid and say, look, this is part of life, this is part of business. Other people are going to come up with potentially better products. They're going to try and take away your market share. What are you going to do about it? And have your kid formulate a plan.
I keep forgetting it's about the kid, not the
yeah, literally, man. Yeah, man, that is true. It's true. Okay, if you could give... Okay, if you could give one final answer, do you have any more ideas of what you might do?
I think it's something along the lines of what Mish was saying. I would tell my kid. I would teach them about diversifying, being a better business person, just to not take it to heart and just motivating them to do better. Basically, just say, look, you need to do better than this other kid. There's nothing you could do. Things are going to happen in life. You know, you're always going to have competition. You're always going to have hurdles and challenges. You have to become better, and by doing that, it's basically investing more ideas, thinking of new ways to do things. And I would tell that, well, speak to my child basically to do that, and then see what they come up with and just help them. I think that's fun.
Nice. I would probably, I think ultimately I would do, ultimately I'll do the same thing, to be honest. But
What are you copying me for?
but I would say offer something other than a drink. Like, what else do hikers want? You're trying to get to the hikers.
Yeah.
What else do they want? And do that instead.
Protein bars.
Ooh, smoothies.
It's a lot.
Okay. So speaking about, one of you mentioned that you've got to keep the kid in mind because it's about the kid, right? So keeping that in mind for the next moral dilemma. So envision yourself as being a woman.
You didn't say what you would do, mister.
No, I told you what I'd do. I'd speak to my kid and say,
you
look,
did, yeah,
this
you
is part of life. You got to figure things out. Maybe I'd help my kid. You know, there's a lot of creative ideas you can have. You can actually go on the hike yourself and try and put up advertisement posts almost, you know.
That's a good idea.
Let's say 3 kilometers to go until you have this fresh lemonade with your branding on it. So they know that when they get to the end, your lemonade is the one they've been looking forward to.
That's true, because the other parents of the other kid, they're not going to necessarily know because they can drive in. So they're not going to know about the hike itself and where to position different ads and all of that.
Or you could set up more stands.
Or you can hire actors to line up at your stand to make it look like it's way better. And if that backfires and makes people go to the other stand, you instead hire actors to stand at the other stand so that people will come to your stand because there's no queue.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea. Because how do you okay. Right. My answer to him would be set up more stands. Get your mate to help you or something. Have one at the bottom, because what goes up must come down, and have one at the top.
Yeah,
You're good.
that might work.
So basically set a franchise up.
Perfect.
Okay. So the next moral dilemma, keeping in line with the kids, is envision yourself as being a young adult woman. You love going out on the town.
Shouldn't be hard for Solly.
You what? Stuck for the love. Stuck for the love.
So you.
Sorry, man.
No, that's okay. So you're a young adult woman who loves going out on the town. You know, I know none of us drink here, but envision in this situation that you do drink. One day you and your friends drink a bit too much, a little bit of hanky-panky, and you become pregnant and you decide to keep the kid. As difficult as it is, put yourself in that position.
These moral dilemmas are so random.
It'll get a bit more interesting. So the mate who you had the kid with is a completely decent guy. He wants to stick around in the kid's life and be a decent father, but doesn't really want to get married, and you're completely fine with that as well. So you have the kid. A couple of years later, you do meet somebody. So you've had a son. A couple of years later, you meet somebody, and you get married to this person, and with them, you have 2 twin girls. Now, growing up, the friend who's essentially the father of your son is making a lot of money. He's actually extremely rich. He's basically gone lucky, or worked hard. He's become a multi-millionaire. He's able to afford really nice things in life. And whenever your son goes to visit him, let's say he's about 10 years old in this situation, whenever your son goes to visit him, he comes back with maybe the latest iPad, or on his birthday, he'll get like the best gifts. And your 2 daughters, who are about 8 years old, do notice this difference in the way that their brother is being gifted these things and they're not, because you can't obviously afford it. And additionally, the circumstances set it up so that your son essentially has 2 birthdays and 2 Christmases, because he'll celebrate one with his mother and one with his father. Now, how do you handle that with your 2 twin girls?
Do you want to go first, or shall I?
You go first. I think I need a bit of time to think.
Okay. How old are the kids?
I did originally say 10 and 8. Let's up the age a little bit. Let's say the son is 17 and the two twin girls are 15.
You should tell them the truth, wouldn't you? Wouldn't you? You'd say,
Yeah,
look,
if they're
this is-
older, you would.
Yeah. If they're older, you would. If they're younger, this is a bit sneaky. I would use that as a thing. I would say, okay, well, your brother's getting these things because he's really good in school. He behaves really well. He da-da-da-da-da. So the reward for all of that behavior is there. So if you want these things...
But if by doing that, you put yourself in a tricky situation, because what if they be really good in school and they do all those good things and they're going to expect something, but you can't give them nothing?
Well, good question. The thing is, the son is 10. So I would say, well, he's getting these things because from 0 to 10, he's done these. You never knew about this now, so I'm only telling you now at 8, which means you have to do it for 10 years, which will make them 18.
I feel like by the time you explain this process, you may as well have just explained to them the actual situation.
Yeah, but at 8 years old, are they going to understand?
I don't think they're going to understand what you're trying to explain.
This is true. I just tell them the truth. But for an 8-year-old, how do you tell that? You as a mum, how do you tell that to an 8-year-old?
I don't know. I think
You
I'd
don't
be the
tell them
same.
the truth,
I
really,
would tell
wouldn't
them the
you?
truth.
Or-
Like, if you base it on like Islamic principles and stuff like that, like, I would always tell the truth.
Yeah, you tell them the truth, innit?
Yeah, I'll just tell them the truth of it. Look, like, this is the situation.
But it doesn't take away from the fact that they feel that they're being treated unfairly. The truth may not be satisfactory to them.
Because they're kids.
Yeah.
They're children. You tell them the truth, and they'll be like, yeah, and it's true. And they'll be like, yeah, but I still want that iPad.
True.
What do you do? What do you do?
But then,
Talk to their dad. Can't get them an iPad, man. Do some more shifts or something.
I would maybe just say to the dad, like,
No, you don't.
That's
No,
the dad's
no.
right to like
Yeah.
spoil their children in a way.
It is. But you might have to do something like, okay, you would have to talk to the wealthy father and say, look, I can't tell you not to buy your son all of these things, but so there's two things here. So you either got to tell him, he'll never not buy them. It's his kid. He wants to love his kid. Yeah. So he'll continue buying them. So you got to tell him either, right, you can do it, but the iPad and all of that stuff, because the son is living with me. So what comes into my house is up to me. Not, you get me? So you want to play with the iPad? Play at your dad's house. You want to play on the PS20? Play at your dad's house. Doesn't come in here. And people might say that that's unfair or that's this or that's that. But ultimately, if the two girls, 8-year-olds, are happy with what they have and the son has the same thing in the same house, then there's no reason why the son should feel upset, because he's still at an advantage,
But you know what
knowing
that's
that
gonna mean? The
he goes to the
son's-
dad's house and he can still play it
Yeah,
there.
do you know what that's going to mean though? Like, one thing, it could open up another can of worms. The son's going to be like the dad and want to spend more time with the dad and this and that.
Yeah, true.
And when you're a kid, like, you think
So you could do it two-way around. So you could tell the dad this first, or you can try and explain it to the 10-year-old first. Look, 10-year-olds are quite, obviously they're not adults, but my nephew is 11.
Yeah.
He's going to be 12 this year. And I have to admit, he gets things. He understands it. So I feel like if you did tell that to a 10-year-old, what's the relationship like between the twins and the 10-year-old?
The relationship is fine, but they can see that there's a lot of unfair treatment, and sometimes it's not a matter of sharing the iPad. Sometimes it's a matter of, on his birthday, he'll get like a once in a lifetime trip to Disneyland, just him and like, some of his mates from school or something. Do you know what I mean? Whereas the girls, they're just not getting the same thing on their birthday. But additionally, keep in mind that these are two twin girls. So already it feels like they're having half a birthday or half a Christmas or half an Eid or whatever, right? So it feels like he's not just getting double what they're getting. He's getting quadruple what they're getting.
It's very difficult, but I suppose ultimately, you will have to tell them the truth and maybe explain, look, You might not get it now because you're kids. But when you're older, you will most certainly understand that this is what it is. What can you do? You can't tell the dad to stop buying his son or taking his son.
You can't control what the other parent wants to do. But I think ultimately, the only thing you can do is tell the truth. And I would also tell the truth and maybe, like you said before, like limit like what they have in your house compared to their dad's house.
Yeah, in terms of like material items, in terms of trips and going away, there's nothing you can do. Yeah. There isn't anything you can do, and the only thing you can do to the girls is actually explain to them that this is what it is.
Yeah, I think that's a lot of good answers. There's no right answer to this. I do think that you could speak to the dad and say, look, I appreciate that you want to give him all these gifts and experiences. However, one, I think you may be spoiling him, because to me personally, he sounds like in that situation he is being a little bit spoiled. And two, his relationship with his sisters may be like you asked earlier about the relationship with the sisters. That may be on a negative path almost. You know, it may be slightly hindered by the fact that he's getting all these extra luxuries. You know, they may be quite jealous of him. So the dad needs to understand these things if he does want to be a good dad. So there's a lot of different approaches you can take. There's no right answer. Did you want to move on to the next one?
I think before all of that, inshallah, that will not happen to us.
Well, I'm certainly not getting pregnant. So
and, we don't drink. So how the hell can we get drunk? And like,
and I don't have any millionaire friends either. So
yeah, that's it, man.
One thing I was going to say actually. So weird dynamic to that is I'm the youngest out of my siblings. There's 3 of us, and growing up, my older siblings would always say to my mum and dad, "Oh, you spoil him, or you he does this and you never tell him off." But when we did it, when we were kids, you would always tell us off.
Yeah.
You guys are amongst the eldest out of your siblings. Yeah.
I'm middle child.
Oh, okay. So you're in a bit of a okay. You're one of the eldest.
Yeah.
Did you ever feel like that?
Yeah, so I kind of see this, not just in my family, but I've sort of observed this in a lot of different families, a relationship between parents and children where with the first few kids, the parents are a lot stricter. As the number of kids increases, the parents become a bit more chilled out, a little bit older and a little bit more relaxed. Additionally, if you've got 2 kids, one being, let's say, for argument's sake or example's sake, 15 and another being 12, sometimes when you decide actually the 15-year-old is old enough to be afforded this luxury of going out to play football with his friends, suddenly you're going to afford that to the 12-year-old as well. You're not going to wait until they reach the age of 15. You're going to just give it to them. Additionally, younger siblings often have the benefit, depending on age differences and stuff, of learning from their older siblings' mistakes. So sometimes your older sibling is the one who struggles and goes through a lot of difficulties, etc. And the younger sibling, without even realizing it, sometimes subconsciously, will have the ability of learning from the older siblings, either from seeing them make the mistake and then learning that they should not repeat those actions, or they may see the behavior that their older sibling is modeling and then follow that behavior, and it's behavior that is learnt behavior from that mistake that was made, so they don't have to make that mistake themselves. Does that make sense?
Very good answer. Yeah, and that's completely true. What about you?
You're right, but I am one of the basically. So I do have half siblings as well. I didn't forget them, but basically,
he was like, who?
Basically, like my half siblings live with my dad.
That is cold.
Yeah,
that sounds quite cold, doesn't it? Basically, I never see them in it, so I don't know how they're like. I don't know how they're treated.
Cold, man.
I made myself sound proper cold, didn't I?
Wow. If I was you, I wouldn't have even mentioned it, man. I would have just gone, hell no.
In the podcast universe, they don't exist.
No, because I think I've spoken about a little bit about our backstory before, like my family background, slightly. So I don't want to make it sound like. Basically, what I'm trying to say is right. Let me try to save myself. Here.
Even I remembered because I was like, "Oh, you're amongst some of the oldest in your siblings." And then when he was like, "Oh, I'm the middle child," I was like, Oh, I don't know. Whatever. So I just went with it.
Wait, so I'm a bit confused. Can you just clear up what your siblings' situation is?
So my parents got divorced, and I didn't really have much of a relationship with my dad. So he got remarried and stuff. I speak to him now, alhamdulillah, like we've got a bit of a good relationship. But he's got 3 other kids that are really, really young. They're like massive age gap. So my sister, like, obviously I'm 26, and I think my youngest sibling is like 2.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So like, what I was thinking of when you said that is like, out of my older sister, my younger brother, I'm the middle child in that sense.
I never knew Solly was so cold, man.
Come on, man, you know
I'll
me.
start calling him Mr. Freeze.
Sub-Zero.
Sub-Zero. Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the next one.
You didn't let him answer the question.
Sorry, what was the question?
Yeah, what was the question?
I was going to say, what would... so obviously I explain what I would do. You explain what you would do.
Yes.
What would you do?
So although in the sense I'm thinking of, like my younger brother, the question was like, if he were to be spoiled, how would I react? Is that right?
So obviously from the question, it was when I was growing up, because of the disparity in between my age and my siblings' age, I was a lot younger, and they always used to say to my parents, "Oh, you spoil him, or you let him get away with things that you didn't." Do you feel like that?
I do, but in a good way. Like, I want my brother to experience things that I didn't experience.
Okay, yeah.
So like, my mum is like, she was stricter on me and my sister, but my brother, she's very like lenient. She's like, he's like her baby, and she proper like lets him do anything. Like, if he wants to go out, he could go out.
Yeah.
If he wants something, my mum tries her best to give it to her, and like, I'm like, I want her to do that for him.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah,
like,
of course. Man.
We couldn't have certain things.
Yeah.
For example, maybe because of like financial situation or whatnot.
Yeah.
And now that my mum's like letting my brother be more lenient, like I want him to, but at the same time, he's not spoiled.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
I've met your brother. I've got to admit, mate,
he's not spoiled. Like,
good kid.
He gets whatever he wants, but he's not spoiled.
Yeah.
So in that sense, I'm just like, just do whatever you want to do.
Yeah, because you know he's sensible.
Yeah,
and all
that's
of
it.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Yeah, I think I've got quite a similar relationship with my younger brother, who's just turned 19 recently.
Yeah, my brother's the same age.
Yeah, so maybe they're the same person.
Oh,
But
we're related. What's my dad been doing?
we waited until episode 7 of your podcast to reveal to you that you actually have a brother.
Surprise!
Damn.
No, my brother's about 19, and we sort of give him a lot of. I like to buy him things that he wants, because I know that he's not going to sort of ruin the opportunities. He wanted to have a saxophone so he can learn how to play the saxophone. I decided to buy it for him. My parents would never have let me have any sort of musical instrument in the house, but I thought, actually, my brother's got the freedom to explore his creativity a little bit, something I didn't really have when I was younger. So I do want to afford that to him, because I know he's quite a sensible kid and he puts his studies first, etc. So I think it's quite a similar situation.
Yeah, for sure.
You almost become not their guardian, but like in that sense, you're quite protective. Yeah,
of course.
Yeah. Well, both my younger brothers have said before, like, to a certain degree, I was almost like almost raising them at some point, to a degree. Shall we move on to the next one?
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so in this situation, you are a husband with a wife,
Inshallah,
one day,
a daughter,
Inshallah.
let's say about 7 years old, and a young dog as well.
I'd have a cat instead. Can there be a cat instead?
No. In this situation, it has to be a dog.
All right.
For a particular
Guard dog, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Doesn't live in the house, yeah.
As long as it's an animal you have to take for a walk and pick up its poop. Yeah,
it's got to be a dog, isn't
it?
Yeah. As a non-dog owner, it is funny to me that there's other living creatures which you will follow around and literally pick its poop up. That just as an aside. Okay, in this situation, you're a husband with a wife and let's say a 6-year-old, 7-year-old daughter and a pet dog. You wake up on your daughter's birthday and your wife is telling you, look, we've got this birthday party planned today. You need to help out with the organizing. Can you please pack up the goodie bags for all the guests? Basically, your daughter's having some friends over. You want to give them goodie bags with some treats inside. So you go downstairs to the kitchen. You find these little pink bags with love hearts on, and you and your daughter start filling them with little treats like little chocolates and little toys, etc., to give to the guests. When it comes to the time of the party, at the end of the party, as they're all leaving, you get the box out with all these little goodie bags and you start handing them out. And you see the look on your wife's face, and she just looks really shocked and really angry. And she actually walks upstairs past all the guests and sort of slams the door upstairs. You bid farewell to all the guests, and then you go up and you say, well, what's the problem? And she says, those bags that you pack the the treats in, they're the dog poop bags. They're the bags that I use to pick up the dog's poop. And I'm really embarrassed, because what if one of our guests, what if they also use the same bags, or they know that these are dog poop bags? Can you imagine how embarrassing this is? So how do you feel in that sort of situation, or how do you react in that sort of situation?
You can answer first stuff, yeah?
You go first, because I went first last time.
I would own up to it. I would just tell all the guests, like, I accidentally did this. It's my fault. I packed them. I saved my wife the embarrassment. And literally just take the L.
Okay.
That's what I'd do.
That's a good answer.
I'd blame my daughter.
Give her a tough lesson.
I'd phone them up and say, I'm really sorry, little Mary didn't know what she was doing. And
not even a Muslim name.
Yeah, Mariam. Little
Yeah,
Mariam
so
didn't know
Mary is part of it,
didn't know what she was doing, man. And we left her in charge of it because we were busy doing all the other stuff that comes in arranging a party. And unfortunately, she has loaded all the goodies into a dog poop bag. What is a dog poop bag? What differentiates a dog poop bag to a bag that you would put treats in?
Well, none of us have dogs, so we wouldn't know.
Yeah, I suppose nothing really. But if let's say that you buy you or your wife buy these bags from the local shop, and you know that a lot of these guests live in the same area, so they might be buying the same bags as well.
I'd just deny it. No, it's not.
I'd say that was the theme of the birthday party.
That's funny, man. Yeah, I mean, I don't. No, the right thing is, firstly, you would apologise to your wife because she is absolutely correct. How are you giving goodies in a dog poop bag, bro? Like, number one, firstly, you got to hold your hands up, man, and like you said, take the L because you're an idiot.
Yeah.
So apologise to your wife first and foremost. Secondly, phone up all the guests and make sure you blame your kid. I'm joking.
Don't tell your wife that.
Don't tell your wife that. No, although she would probably find out, because that one of them will probably, you're passing by the supermarket. Oh yeah, little Mariam. Mistake with the dog poop bag. Then you got another dilemma on your hands. Actually, the lesson from this is always important to be just honest.
Snip with a bud.
Or you can take the risk in the hope that no one ever says anything or notices. Or
no after risk.
They might notice, but hopefully they won't say anything.
Yeah.
I think it's the idea of them noticing and just knowing, not even saying anything, right? The sort of the shame that you feel from potentially people might know this stupid mistake that you made that is it's inconsequential but potentially quite embarrassing.
Yeah, very much so. I would you just have to probably phone them up and say, oh, we're really sorry, we made a mistake. In my mad rush to try and get everything finished, I didn't realise I actually picked up the dog poop bag. Don't worry.
And then you could laugh.
It's not recycled.
You could laugh and you could laugh about it after that. If you're just honest. Because like you said, if you just do it and not say anything, people are going to know. And they're not going to say anything out of like embarrassing you. Whereas if you just own up to it, say it, they'll laugh about it. I thought that, but I wasn't going to say anything.
Yeah. That's it, man. I think that's ultimately the correct thing to do. What would you do?
Me, I think I agree with you guys. Actually, just apologize to the wife, and then maybe shoot a text or an email or a phone call over to everyone who attended, because you probably have their details if they're attending, right? So shoot them a message saying, "Really sorry, silly mistake on my behalf. It's a bit of a joke." But if you take yourself out of the situation a little bit, if it wasn't you in this situation and you just heard this story as if it happened to somebody else. What would you think of this guy? Do you think that he's quite switched on? Do you think he's quite switched off? How do you feel about this character?
I think there's a lot of elements that come to the thing. Like, I'm thinking way too deep into this, but I'd like to know the full picture. Like, when they take the dog on walks, does he take it on walks or does the wife take it on walks? Who buys the dog poop bags? Is he to know that this is a dog poop bag? Or not? Probably does. At some stage,
I mean,
he
they do have a
probably
dog,
has
right?
taken the dog for a walk. So the likelihood is he probably does know. But we're all prone to mistakes. It could be that in the rush, maybe the normal bags and the dog poop bags are situated right next to each other. And just in his mad rush, he's picked up the wrong one.
Yeah, I think
could be.
I think the more you look into it, the more complicated it gets. If
Yeah.
you're just like literally straight up honest, people are going to be like, "Oh yeah, he just made a mistake. It's fine." I don't think they'll think too much of it.
And I don't know how dog poop bags come. Like, do they come in a like? You know how bin liners just come in one big black roll? Do dog poop bags just come in one roll of dog poop bag? I don't know.
I've got no idea. So keep in mind that these are stories that I've ripped from the internet. So these are real things that have happened. And the way I've tried to really encompass what was said by the person who posted these stories online, i.e. the people in the actual situation to you. And one of the things I mentioned is that when this guy woke up on the day of his daughter's birthday, the wife had mentioned to him, "Oh, we need to get the party ready. Do you mind packing these bags?" You've already mentioned that. How does he not know what the dog bags look like? Does he never take the dogs on a walk? Does he never buy the bags himself? Additionally, why is it that his wife has to instruct him to get the bags ready? So from my perspective, and maybe I'm being a bit too much of a feminist here, from my perspective, it looks like he does way too little of the work, or has to be told what work to do, and maybe he needs to take some initiative.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, ultimately, that is correct. That is correct. It's your daughter's birthday party as much as it's the wife's daughter's birthday party. You should have equal involvement, and ultimately, you should be able to differentiate between a party bag and a poo bag.
I think the moral of the story is get a cat. They take care of themselves. Just get a little box, let them go outside.
That's very true, man.
Job done.
Nah. Yeah,
and
man.
cats are Muslim as well.
It's true.
All right, let's move on to the next one. This is the last one. So, growing up, and this may be relatively realistic, actually, this aspect of it. Growing up, your dad and you have a shared interest in old school Mercedes. At the time, they weren't old school, but a lot of Asian families really try to, for some reason, they prize Mercedes. They think Mercedes is a mark of success. So you have a lot of memories, you and your dad, with this Mercedes. You drive around in this Mercedes. Let's say it's I don't know that much about cars, 180E, 180E class. It's like an old school Mercedes, early 90s. It was your dad's favorite car. A lot of your fondest memories of your dad actually were from your drives with him in this car. Unfortunately, he sold the car, passed away, and you wish that you still had that car. Now, fast forward to now, maybe let's say about 20 years later, you have just recently gotten married, and you are walking down the street and you see a car, a Mercedes 180E, in a used car park sales lot, I guess, or like in a garage, being with a sale sign in the window, and you decide to just go and have a look, and you realize this isn't just the same car, but it is actually exactly the same car. It's not just the same model, but it's exactly the same car that your dad had. Reason being that as a security measure, you and your dad actually glued an old penny under the steering wheel console, I guess is the word, so that if it's ever stolen and then police find a similar car, you can check to see if that penny's still glued there. And when you actually checked out this car, that penny is still there. Now you wanted to purchase this car because for you it's a bit of memorabilia. It's the last thing you really had a connection to your dad with, and you regret the fact that he sold it just before he passed away. You spend, let's say, £10,000 on this car. You take it home to your wife, who you've just married a few months ago, and she's livid at the fact that without contacting her or asking her, you've dropped £10,000 on this car. So how do you feel about that situation? Are you justified in making such a big purchase?
Shall I go first?
Yeah, you go first this one.
Okay. I would say that in actual fact, he's probably wrong in doing that. Not in buying the car, but in not discussing with his wife first, because his dad is dead now. Yes, it's sentimental and this, that, and the other, but is he going to be so worried about the past that he forgets to actually concentrate on the present and the future? Yeah, you can't drop 10 bags without asking your wife, man.
Yeah,
you can't.
that's what would be going through my head. I think I would need to, definitely discuss it with your wife, but at the same time, like, yes, you would want to buy it because that's sentimental value. But would you consider actually buying it? Because, like you said, you have to think about your future, and 10 grand's a lot of money. That's like like half, a third of a deposit or whatever.
Well, if you're absolutely loaded, where
then,
to the point where £10,000 is literally nothing to you, then I'm sure you can buy it. And if you're so loaded, I'm sure you can buy it to the point where you're that loaded that your wife doesn't care about you spending £10,000. Let's say you're on that level.
Yeah.
But if you're on like just normal or whatever, just like normal 10 grand, whatever, you can't not ask
I think in this real life example, as Mish said, like, because these are examples taken from the internet, like his wife was livid. So by that, I take it they maybe weren't that wealthy.
Yeah.
So in that
or
situation,
not wealthy enough just to drop 10 grand on a like, it's not saying, okay, would you spend £10,000 on a photograph of your mother or father who's now dead?
Would I?
It's kind of hypothetical.
Oh,
but yeah. Like, would you spend 10 grand on let's say you're just an average person or whatever, and average wealth, average whatever.
Yeah, and you need to take into account as well, like, these are materialistic things as
Yeah,
well. Like,
yeah.
sentimental, but like, if you strip it back to like Islam and our way of life and stuff like that, like, you don't really need it.
No, of course. I think if you're normal wealth, normal family, whatever, but then again, at the same time, what normal wealth person would think that it's a good idea to drop 10 grand on a memorabilia of their father?
Yeah, you would have.
Do normal people do that?
You would literally have to be like loaded, I think.
You would, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Surely.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's try and spice it up a bit. Let's say that the person who's selling the car says, look, either you buy it now or you don't ever get it because somebody's actually offered to buy it and they're coming down tomorrow to see it and buy it. So this is essentially your only chance. And you're trying to get through to your wife and you're trying to call her and call her and call her. And you're literally there for about half an hour, 45 minutes trying to call your wife, but she's just not picking up. So what would you do in that moment? Would you let go of this car forever? Or would you just purchase it hoping that your wife will be okay with that?
Does the dealership have cameras? Because if not, I'd just put one big scratch down the side. Say, look, man, damaged goods, man.
Yeah.
Give it to me for like
Sort me out.
5,000. Because let's not forget, you're not buying it for the car, you're buying it for the memory. So what it looks like or whatever shouldn't necessarily matter an awful lot. But that's very much dependent on, does the dealership have cameras? Probably. If you're holding cars, one is 10,000.
It's a tricky
Let's say
one.
you've even got 5 or 6 cars there. That's like 50, 60, and let's say they're all 10 grand. That's like 50, 60,000 pounds worth of stuff. You would probably have some sort of camera equipment.
I thought of something that's quite like, I suppose it's quite serious, isn't it? But like, I just sort of like, Islamically, right? Your dad's passed away.
Yeah.
You're better off 10 grand into Sadqa, right?
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, to benefit their in them in the grave.
Yeah.
Better off doing that.
Yeah, or doing Hajj on their behalf.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can do that for dead people, actually.
Well, you could like build a mosque on their behalf
Or something. Yeah,
do
of
some
course.
sadaqah, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
And 10
definitely.
grand on that rather than like buying this car is not going to do any good for them.
Yeah, true.
So I'll just...
But for your own personal sake, though...
Nah, I would allow it. I'll be just, nah, it's not worth it.
I would also think, no, forget it. Because you must have some... So good, it sounds like that the person and the dad had quite a good relationship.
Yeah.
You would have, yes, that car holds very valuable memories for you and da-da-da. But you've probably got other things in your possession that also hold memories of you and your dad, like pictures together, or maybe an old tie he used to wear that you've now got, or it's something, right? You'd probably have something, or like, his favourite shirt that he used to wear.
Well, what about the sentiment that money comes and money goes, right? Money is not end of the world. So dropping £10,000, let's say your savings is 30k, and you decide to drop 10k on this car, with you've got your own house already. You're saving up essentially for future, for your kids, etc. 10k is a lot of money, but you don't want to live the rest of your life thinking, oh, I wish I had that. I was presented with that opportunity. I wish I took it.
I mean,
I think it really depends on your mindset.
it's an individual choice, but ultimately, like, is the money all his money, or is that money coming out of an account where both of them input money into that? Because if they do, let's say they both input it and he just goes and drops 10, I can't justify that, man. I can't justify it, man.
Talking for me personally, I suppose like I wouldn't know for sure because I'm not in that situation. But if I was in that situation, I don't think I would. If I saw it and then I knew I couldn't afford it or not, I wouldn't care like that.
Yeah,
I wouldn't think, I just blew my chance.
Because this is it. Memories are a nice thing, but nothing comes from them.
Yeah.
Right? Sentimental memories, nothing comes from it. Particularly when you're talking about a deceased person, if anything, it will probably make you more sad.
Yeah.
Right? So me spending that £10,000 on this car, what benefit will that have over any other sentimental possessions I have for my father as well? Now you might say, to remember him by, or to do this or to do that. But the likelihood is I've got other things to also remember him by. And if it gets to a stage where I'm so old, I'm dying or whatever, or you've got your dementia kicks in or whatever, in which case you won't even remember who your dad is anyway. Yeah. So this car now becomes pointless. Personally, I'd have to agree with the wife for feeling hard done by, for not consoling her first before dropping 10 bags, even if the dealership man said, you either got to buy it now or it's gone tomorrow. Even taking that into account, I still think you should ask your wife.
I think so. What would you do in this situation, Mish?
I don't think I'd buy it. Yeah, I agree with you guys. If you can't get through to the wife, then it's a no-go, isn't it?
Yeah.
You just can't justify it, can you? No, I agree with you guys. But that's it. I think that's the last question. I haven't really got any others.
Nice.
But if you guys like this, maybe we can try again at some point.
I think this was a good idea. I can't.
It was good. I think it's nice to like break it up, because when we talk about a number of different topics, sometimes it can feel a bit serious. So I feel like it's good to break it up and give us a little break, I suppose.
Yeah, 100%. Because we don't want to be talking about serious things every single episode all the time.
Are you saying lemonade stands and dog poop bags aren't serious?
I mean, to some people they probably are.
These are real life situations that people went to the internet for consolation and for advice.
Do we have answers to what they did?
Yeah, when these people posted, they posted in a lot more detail with a lot more responses and a lot more opinions, and the public will essentially vote as to which answer they think is the most suitable and appropriate. So yeah, there are some answers. Yeah, but I'd have to do some digging to actually find those. If you want, in the description box, we can leave the links to those original, a link to the original site where the situation is described and all the answers and everything.
I think it'd be good, man. Just something interesting and something different.
Yeah, definitely. I've quite enjoyed it. I don't know about you guys, but it's been a nice break from talking about loads of serious things, because we spoke about so far. God, I literally can't remember. Black Lives Matter, racial injustice, cultural toxicity,
education, it's like
education,
careers.
What was the word, man? Like, I've completely forgotten. Like, unrealistic expectations from parents.
Oh yeah, and like
things like that.
Touched upon like marriage and stuff like that, like all like serious stuff.
Yeah, for sure. So it's made a nice change to what we normally, the things we normally talk about. To be honest, so I've actually quite
I really liked it.
Man.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. It gets you thinking as well. Like, how would we apply to these different situations ourselves?
Yeah.
Like taking into account like our background, our family situation.
Yeah.
Like how we are as well as people. So I think in that sense it was good, man. I really enjoyed it.
For sure. Let's wrap it up.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, so. For sure, definitely. Mish, thank you for doing the role reversal and being the host in this situation. Okay. Yeah, for sure, man. And you're welcome down, obviously, anytime. Hopefully, I know you're very, very busy. Work like 3,000 hours a week.
Yeah, I still can't believe like 100, 120 hours.
Man, it's mad. Yeah. That's crazy.
And it's legit. Like this is docked as well. Like,
and yeah,
he's not just making these numbers up. That he's got a system. He works for public sector. He's got a system where he has to record his hours worked, and this is what it said.
Yeah.
You know, I can't, when I saw the number, I couldn't believe it either. But yeah, just public service announcement. Don't work too hard. Just relax a little bit as well.
Yeah, for sure, man, for sure. So yeah, thank you very much for listening, everyone. If anyone is listening, I have no idea. Actually, one thing I will say, I do know people are listening because we can see the numbers. So I do know people are listening.
Yeah, I was going to say we can see where they're listening from as well.
Shout out to America.
Yeah, we had like listeners like Michigan, like
loads of places like Michigan, Virginia, like Pennsylvania.
And we're not actually making the stuff as well. We've seen the stats.
Wallah, bro, it's legit. Yeah. So I don't know who you are, but shout out to you. Thank you so much. That's mad.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's
man.
crazy.
We've had we've not actually started promoting or anything yet. We just literally put the pages out.
Yeah.
Put our podcast live. No promotions, and we're getting some downloads. So alhamdulillah for that. But yeah, when we do start promoting and people see this, we'd appreciate you sharing it with family and friends, and just like retweeting, liking, all of that good stuff. But inshallah, hopefully you guys listen to this, and hopefully you guys enjoy it as much as we enjoyed recording and filming it.
Yeah, for sure. And like Sully said, let us know if you ever have anything that you want us to cover, any topics you want us to talk about. It doesn't really matter what it is. We're not shy to have the difficult conversations. And we'd really love to hear from you, particularly the people who have listened so far. We'd love to just obviously extend our thanks to you in a more personal message. Perhaps even, and really just for tuning in, and they've downloaded it more than once, which hopefully is a good thing. So thank you so much. It's really amazing, and to know that it's all the way from America as well.
Yeah.
So really amazing, and likewise from England, we have had people downloading it a whole bunch of times in the UK as well. So it's not to forget, you guys.
We were just surprised that we had some downloads in the US.
Mega surprised. Yeah. So, guys, thank you very much for listening. Peace, love, blessings.
Yeah, take care, guys. Thanks again.